And I still would have said, like, you got to get that group to the tournament. And I
don't disagree with you guys on that.
But and also just to be clear, like, I'm not calling for. I'm not saying fire Juwan Howard. That's Greg.
No.
Yeah. I get
what I'm saying is, like, you got to be better than that. And now you got this mark on the resume. You have another year like this. Then we got to have a conversation. Does that make sense?
Oh, I get
like,
I understand.
Yeah. Greg is in a bad spot.
My question wasn't as much.
Greg's
we
in a
know
bad
you said
way.
it's not surprising. I would say this though, like now they've got some real roster management to do. Can it be done? Of course it can, but they've really the state of Michigan, the state of Michigan basketball heading into next year. They're not a top 25 team.
You don't know that.
We don't know what it's going to look like.
Right
now, there's no shot you'd put them in a way too early top 25. What do they have?
Here's the thing, too, and I want to point this out because
it could be one, but not
sometimes we've been talking about, well, they have 2 draft picks and Hunter Dickinson. Well, let's keep in mind, too, like that roster didn't fit each other very well. And I want to address the draft picks thing. Just because they're draft picks doesn't make them good college players.
And just because draft picks don't make them perennial NBA guys either.
That's right.
Getting drafted at the 50th pick, you get drafted. It sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds
and you get
good.
a cup of coffee, and then what?
Yeah, it sounds good. But, like, here's the thing. Like,
I could use a cup of coffee.
That roster didn't fit each other very well. And it could be something to where, like, Hunter Dickinson leaving, maybe Juwan could do something that he wanted to do with a more athletic 5 that can rim protect and get lobs. Like, we're going to be able to see the kind of roster that he puts together. They already added Amari Burnett from Alabama, who's a former McDonald's All-American that's struggled to kind of get things rolling. You're going to see what kind of coach he is this offseason because there's not that centerpiece that Hunter Dickinson is. He doesn't have to build around one particular player. He can build around what he wants to do as a coach. And I don't know that that's for us to say, well, he should have made the tournament. He's got 2 NBA players. That doesn't mean they're good or great college players. Jett Howard could score. Did he do stuff that was conducive to winning? I would say no. Like, he would score 30, but defensively he didn't guard anybody.
How else did he impact the game?
Huh?
To your point, how else did he impact the game when he wasn't making shots?
That's right. And older players that have that experience, they were different. Like, did he do winning things? Not necessarily. So to say somebody has 2 or 3 NBA players doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win games.
Great point. You could be a great individual talent. Doesn't mean it's for the betterment of a team.
Yeah, and the NBA right now is potential over production anyway.
Always.
So I think people need to understand that portion too. Juwan, it's obvious he can coach the X's and O's. Roster management, after he inherited Beeline's roster, that's been a growing point. Not that he can't do it. He's had to build around Hunter, which is fine. But now we're going to see what he's able to come up with during this offseason where there's a lot of turnover.
Yeah, and to be clear, they absolutely could have a top 25 caliber team next year. But on Monday and Tuesday, when these way too early rankings, and we could talk about how much those mean and how little they mean, I get that. But I don't know how today you could sit there and say that they would be included in there, meaning Michigan, because honestly, this is significant news. I mean, Hunter Dickinson going in the transfer portal is massive, massive news for the college basketball landscape because you're talking about an all-American talent. When you think about possible landing spots, what pops in your head?
Well, first and foremost, I think that he is the single most accomplished transfer that we've ever seen in college basketball. Today's episode of the Field of 68 After Dark is presented by our partners over at Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play college basketball pick'em, where you can win real cash prizes simply by picking player stats in this weekend's Final Four games. In pick'em, all you do is pick whether a player will go higher or lower on Underdog's projected totals, whether it's points or rebounds or assists or all of them combined. If you're like me and you think Adama Sanogo is going to go nuts this weekend, pick higher on his points projection, pick higher on his rebounds projection, maybe throw in a lower on Matt Bradley's scoring totals, a higher on Isaiah Wong, whatever it is that you like. Put them all together, and if you hit them all, then you can win as much as 20 times your money on a single game. Underdog's slick mobile app is easy enough that dummies like Jeff Goodman have even figured out how to use it. So go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app and use the code FIELD, that's F-I-E-L-D, to get a 100% deposit match up to $100. I don't think there's ever been a transfer. He's a 2-time All-American. a dude that put up the numbers that he's put up. I don't think we've ever seen someone as talented as him or as accomplished as him as a junior transfer. Now, places where I think that he'll thrive, I think that he would average 22-12 with Ed Cooley at Georgetown. Is that crazy to say? Ed Cooley loves having those big guys that can rebound, that can post up, that can get touches. If he can get Nate Watson to 16-6, I think we can get Hunter Dickinson to 22-12.
Yeah. If he doesn't go back to Michigan, I think Georgetown and Kansas would be two fits that I see that fit him, his style of play, that he could just slide in and seamlessly and play with guys and have a high production. His numbers wouldn't drop.
That was the other one that I was going to say. It's Kansas.
Traditional big man. You want the ball close to the bucket, he'll find you a way. Bill Self, I'm talking about, will find Hunter Dickinson a way. That one makes a lot of sense. And like you said, what Cooley was able to do with Nate Watson, who's nowhere near the same level of skill that Hunter Dickinson is. Not the passer, not the scorer, not the shooter. Still got 16-6. Nate Watson was a very good college player, not in the same boat as Hunter Dickinson.
And let's call it what it is. Hunter Dickinson is a DMV guy.
Yep.
Right.
He has been very vocal about the fact that he is not a big fan of Maryland and the fact that he was not recruited by Mark Turgeon. I do not see him going to another Big Ten school. I do not see him going to Maryland, which is why Georgetown is one of those obvious places. Real quick, TLRC, you guys have coached, you guys have played, you guys have been in the grassroots system. You understand how this works. He played for Takeover, Nike school. Played for Michigan, Jordan school. Transfers to Kansas, Adidas school. Does that work? Can that happen? Is that going to piss people off? Like talk to me about the dynamics and how the politics.
I don't think that matters at this point. I think the objective for him is he's thinking, how close can I get to winning and playing professional basketball? And I don't think it matters. I mean, playing something and being able to show he can play at the next level, it has to be it. But the other thing is how much is he going to get NIL? We're kidding ourselves if we don't think that that's just part of what this is.
Major bag.
And so when you get that bag, you don't care where it comes from. Nike, Adidas, Diodor, you name it. I don't care where it comes from.
Way of Wade.
The Benjamin Franklins don't have any. They don't come with a sponsorship of a Nike or shoe with them. So I don't think that matters to him at all.
Payless shoe store?
Yeah, he doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter where it comes from. Where would you go if you were
the
him?
Benjamins don't have a Nike check.
Yeah, they don't have a Nike check.
Where would you go if you were Hunter Dickinson? What would you do?
I would take a hard look at Kansas. It depends on how much he wants to be closer to his family.
Yes,
that's a huge thing. And here's the thing: Hunter's going to make money no matter where Hunter goes. It might be $100,000, $200,000 difference. He's going to make a lot of money. It depends on how bad he wants to be closer to the DMV. Both make sense. He's going to have success at both spots in two really quality leagues. Those were the two I would wonder about. And he might even still go back to Michigan, as Randolph alluded to.
We're going to take a break. We're live with you from McIntyre's on